So Michele Bachmann is back, and she weighed in on the Trump presidency on right-wing religious radio, and this was so insane that I'm not going to lie, it made me miss her a little bit.
In my lifetime, I have never seen a more biblical president than I have seen in Donald Trump. He has so impressed me with what he's done, and we haven't even talked about Israel, what he has done to advance Israel. So he is highly biblical, and I would say to your listeners, we will in all likelihood never see a more godly biblical president again in our lifetimes. So we need to be not only praying for him, we need to support him, in my opinion, in every possible way that we can.
I don't even, really? Do I have to do commentary in response to this? That's just adorable. That's so hilarious. But I love it at the same time. It's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. He's the most biblical. He's the most godly. He is like a philandering, self-obsessed, narcissistic child. I mean, how many, now, to be clear, I don't really care about this story, but it's important in the context of what Michele Bachmann is saying here. The whole Stormy Daniels thing, the Karen McDougal thing, which isn't even brought up anymore. So he had a long-term affair with this woman named Karen McDougal. She's given all the details of that. Stormy Daniels, he promised, I'm going to let you on the Celebrity Apprentice or whatever the fuck he was saying. And then he had sex with her, and she's got, disparaging things to say about him and whatnot. The tape where, I grab him by the pussy, I don't even wait. So, this dude is a fucking, malignantly horny, fucking obese, self-aggrandizing, narcissistic buffoon. I mean, just what he does with his hair is enough to tell you, man, this dude is hanging on for dear life to, what he thinks are youthful qualities. And for this, that is, if I had to make in a lab the polar opposite of a Jesus-like character, it would be Donald Trump. The polar opposite. Jesus is all I care about is others and peace and love and being kind to everybody. And I'm like an uber hippie who's just looking to do the right thing. Trump is always looking to do the wrong thing, whatever the thing that's good for him, and doesn't matter if it's fucking bad for everybody else, and he's cheating on his wife, and he's fucking... Now when you bring in actual political stuff, like bombing 8 different countries and trying to topple the Venezuelan government and fucking pulling out of the Iran deal and pushing a war there and just giving Israel fucking, territory where they could just steal it from Palestinians and steal the Golan Heights from Syria. And I mean, in every conceivable way, giving the rich more money, screwing over the poor. He's the opposite of Jesus. But because today evangelical Christianity manifests as just a religious fundamentalist adherence to Republican ideology, because of that, all of a sudden he's the most biblical, he's the most godly. This man is the most godly. Because again, the real adherence from people like Michele Bachmann, it's that Republican orthodoxy to them is the equivalent of this is what is godly and this is what is Jesus-like and this is what is doing the bidding of the Almighty. That's how she views it. So it's always funny to see that, because they just never stop and think, well, what about all the parts of the Bible I'm ignoring that are supposed, I'm supposed to care about peace and being anti-war and feeding the poor. What about all that? Doesn't give a fuck about that. Doesn't care at all. It's so weird. Can some other right-wingers who maybe are not fundamentalist Christians, do you see how silly this looks? I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But either way, Michele Bachmann, please come back. I want more of these segments. They're so glorious.